A big development coming in this morning, a major diplomatic reset between India and China, the first significant breakthrough in the ties since Galwan clash. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi wrapped up a two-day visit to India after high-level talks with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, and a courtesy call on Prime Minister Modi. Wang Yi's visit saw the 24th round of special representatives talk on the India-China boundary question. Another major development is that both the sides have agreed to keep the border peaceful while also working towards a long-term settlement. In fact, let's also walk you through the key outcomes from the talks. First up, it included formation of an expert group to speed up boundary demarcation, along with a working group on effective border management. The two sides also agreed on new general-level mechanisms in eastern and central sectors alongside the existing western one, and very crucially, advancing the process of force de-escalation. The next round of boundary talks will now take place in China. In separate meetings with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, both the sides took steps to revive people-to-people and also economic ties. Direct flights between India and China to resume soon under a new air services agreement. Easier visas for tourists, business persons, professionals and media is also something which was discussed. Border trade reopening at Lipu Lake, Shipki La and also Nathula passes was also discussed. India's Kailash Mansarovar Yatra will also resume from 2026. China will be sharing hydrological data with India during emergencies. Both the sides also pledged support for each other's BRICS summits in 2026 and also 2027. They also reaffirmed commitment to multilateralism and also vowed to manage differences through the dialogues. Now let's also get you more details about Prime Minister Modi's meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister. The two leaders met at Prime Minister's official residence in the national capital yesterday, which was on Tuesday, amid the ongoing efforts to ease down the tensions along the India-China border. During the meeting, Prime Minister Modi also emphasized the importance of peace and stability along the line of actual control. He also, in fact, reiterated India's commitment to a fair and mutually acceptable resolution of the boundary issue. Then following the talks, the Prime Minister posted on his social media profile X saying that he was glad to meet Wang Yi and noted that India-China ties have made steady progress since his meeting with President Xi Jinping last year in Kazan. He added that he looks forward to their next meeting in Tianjin on the sidelines of the upcoming Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit or the SCO Summit, where he is expected to travel from August 31st till September 1st. The meeting comes after US President Donald Trump's recent move to impose tariffs, including a 50% tariff on India. Now let's discuss this further with an expert joining us. He's the China expert and associate professor of Bennett University, Dr. Tilak Jha, speaking to us here on News 9 early this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Jha, for joining us for the conversation. It's a big breakthrough as far as the tensions which were there between India and China, specifically at the line of actual control, are concerned. What do you make of the meetings which were held here between the Chinese foreign minister and multiple of our leaders?
I think the two countries have moved the needle further in terms of moving from de-escalation, disengagement towards de-escalation. So what you yourself pointed out, there are three major announcements related to working group mechanism, expert group mechanism, and talks on the Western, Eastern, and level mechanism, general level mechanism talks on the Western, Eastern, and Central sectors. So these are definitely concrete steps, it seems, on the face of it. And I think going forward, what we are also seeing some major announcements, Prime Minister tweeting, confirming that he is going to participate in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting. This is also another major takeaway when talks happen at the highest level of leadership and there is a warm-up on that front. I think we can definitely read it as a strong signal towards both countries, India and China, leaving the past behind. So I think the message that has come up is that let bygones be bygones. Let's take it further. Let's put the hatchet behind of Galwan incident And I think there are a few other signals as well that we should not ignore is that China has signaled that it is willing to once again sort of relook at the way it sort of views India in the global hierarchy of things. It has used the apparently, reportedly, terms such as India as a major power, and I think that is another signal. Although it is a signal, and I think we have to wait for more concrete steps in the coming forward. I think one another thing that we also have to keep in mind is that there is a lot of reset happening on the Ukraine front as well. We have seen recently talks between Putin and President Trump, and at the same time, Zelensky and European leaders have also met. So America is also looking for resetting its ties with Russia, which again is something that has not happened over past couple of decades almost. So I think if that happens, that would also mean that China will have less option to look towards, on its Russian side, and it will have to basically balance it. So I think every major country tries to somehow make sure that it maintains a good relationship with another major countries.
Absolutely.
And this is definitely a significant step, and we'll have to wait for more signals.
Absolutely. Also, Dr. Jha, I don't want to, jump any sort of guns here. I don't want to conclude anything with the meetings that have been held, but I really want to understand from you that what does it hint at that Wang Yi was here for a couple of days. Now he has gone to Pakistan. I also want to understand from you because after a very crucial meeting between the foreign ministers of both the nations, now our foreign minister has gone to Moscow for a very crucial meeting. So something is also brewing. I want to understand from you that relationship and what exactly can that hint at specifically to that meeting of Donald Trump with the European leaders and also, Ukrainian counterpart of his. There is something brewing definitely on this front.
There is something brewing for sure in the sense that India is signaling to Russia that it still is willing to maintain a very strong ties with Russia. Yes, there are pressures and there are reports that Indian oil firms are not ordering oil the way they have been doing till a couple of weeks ago. So I think there are not just Jaishankar. I think just last week we had Ajit Doval also going there, and he called on President Putin. Putin is reportedly coming to India, expected to come to India towards the end of the year. And I think there are another signals that there are unconfirmed reports that Mr. Trump himself could be going to China towards after when his upcoming visit towards East Asia comes up. So there's a lot happening on that front. As far as Wang Yi's Pakistan visit is concerned, China is very close to Pakistan. I think we saw for that matter in Shanghai Cooperation Organization meet in the defense ministers meet earlier when Rajnath Singh went there. India did not agree because of the disagreement over terrorism in the joint statement, despite the fact that Shanghai Cooperation Organization was formed as to counter terrorism as one of its major agenda. But despite there was no agreement on the terrorism front because of presence of Pakistan in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, China was reluctant to treat Pahalgam as India wanted. So I think this is again a continuity on that front. But here, I think moving forward, what we have seen is that when Wang Yi has come here, joint statement was issued. Both countries have agreed. They have addressed each other's sensitivity. So I think Wang Yi's visit to Pakistan could also be seen as a sort of assuring Pakistan that China is still there, their ties are still fairly strong, and they are not really siding with India. So I think whenever there are ties between two countries, building it up or breaking it up. I mean, we don't see breakup happening between China and Pakistan for sure, but even more nuance and more rationality and the ties, at least it being seen as anti-India is something, or viewed as anti-India is something that will require a bit of work. So they are trying to assure Pakistan. Of course, India is also trying to assure Russia, and there is a lot of reset happening. We also notice somewhere that every major country is trying to resolve the resolve some of the major issues which have been lying from the past. So America is trying to basically reset its ties with Russia, not just for the sake of Ukraine, but also the fact that it wants Russia on its side to counter China at some stage. If not counter per se, but at least have more options. So I think this is India would also not want to give up on Russia. China would also not want to give up on Pakistan. And I think this is a signal that world is heading towards a more shared form of global relations, global ties, multilateralism. So this is how possibly multilateralism will look like, where every major country, every small country as well, tries to have a working relationship, functional relationship with a strong trade ties and more rational basis of building up the relationships.
Absolutely, and that was a very constructive chat. Dr. Tilakja, thank you so much for speaking to News9 and sort of trying to simplify the situation which is brewing, of course, between multiple countries at the moment. What exactly does that mean for India?